Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Math with Mr. W. Here we are in first grade, and today's discussion is not how to make 10, but we've moved up in value, how to make 15. So this is going to be a method that's going to help our students understand and remember all the ways to get into those teens and know how sums are and what the sums are every time without having to just think about them or count on their fingers. No counting on your fingers. This is just a great method for doing this, and it's all about patterns and understanding the patterns. So we're going to do this to start with, just like we do with the tens. How many ways can we make 15 using just two numbers? So if we start with the number 1, we have, of course, to add 14. Because 1 plus 14 equals 15. And we have our students write this down because they have to do this. And now we're going to be able to show them this and put it on the board and say, okay, now what happens if I increase this to a 2? What happens to our 14? Well, Sally, yes. Yeah, that's right. It decreases to 13. So let them put this down. It still equals 15. So now what happens when I increase this again? So I'm going to increase this to 3, but 3 now is going to be added to 12. And that equals 15. You're probably wondering why I'm doing all this. This is a thing that even bothers students in the 9th grade. I ask them, what's 8 plus 7? And there's this long thought going on in their head because what was that? It's not because I've stressed them out. So they've never really got this in their head. And it has to be in their head. But it has to be in them at a happy, fun way. So let's keep going. And in first grade, math is a joyous time. If you ask most first graders what's their favorite subject, most of them will say math because it's comfortable. It's easy for them. They actually feel good about it. So let's make it really a lot of fun for them. This becomes an 11. So now what are they doing? They're learning how to count backwards from 15. Okay, so this sum is also 15, and now we've got a 5, and this here becomes a 10, and we think we've got a long list happening, but it's not going to be that long because you see 6 plus 9 equals 15. And then we have 7 plus 8 equals 15. Let's look closely at this. Now, what happens when I do, if I put an 8 here, I get a 7. Well, that's the same story. 8 and 7, 7 and 8, same story. So I don't need to go any further than this if I have 2 digits. So our idea is done. So now let's think about how many ways I can make 15 if I've got 3 digits to do it with. Okay? Look at how this works. Go down to 7 and back up to 14. So see, there's a little bit of a pattern here. Yeah, see the pattern? Okay. So the students start to see something in what's going on. And they notice that, gee, how far away is 1 from 15? Well, it's 14 away. And you might talk to them about this later on in the year as they get toward the idea of subtraction or adding in the opposite direction. How far is 1 away from 15? Well, it's 14 away. So I'll toss that out right now, but I'm not going to talk about it at length here. So now I've got two numbers. What do I do with three numbers? But I can't make them the same. So I've got 1 plus 2 plus, well, that's 3. So I go over here and I go, uh-oh, that's a 12. So 1 plus 2 plus 12 equals 15. And I got to start with my 3 different numbers to add up to 15. And now I can still put a 1, but now I got to change this because I can't have the same here. So I have 1 plus 3, and this now becomes an 11 equals 15. Because this guy got bigger, this guy here has to get smaller. So I have a different set of numbers. I have one that's the same, but I have a different set of numbers that still make 15. And again, my next set will be a 1 starting out, but now I get a 4 plus 10. And it also equals 15. Now, why do you think I keep writing equals 15? The key here is that equal sign. The equal sign. This equal sign. It is the second level of mathematics. After all the symbols the students are going to learn, all the things you've learned over all the years that you've had, every symbol that you've had, from the easy alphabet, the basic digits, to the funky Greek symbols, it's just symbols. But that most important symbol is the second level of math. It's the equal sign. Because without the equal sign, you can't do anything. Now from here, after we do the 3 numbers, we're going to do 4 numbers and finally 5 numbers. But the pattern has got to be there. And what they're going to find out is they're going to see over and over again how to make 15. They're still seeing this 3, 11, and 1. They can still see that's a 5 and 10. That's a 4 and 11. That's a 3 and 12. So they're repeating the thoughts that they had before. And they're writing them down. They're putting them in their head. And it's happening over and over again. So let this be a strong introduction to your math at the beginning of your year. Because as kindergarten kids, they were all about up to 10. This next thing is going to take them up to 15. And we're also going to be counting backwards from 30. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing math. And thanks again for joining me on Math with Mr. W. See you next time.